Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to round number two of this insane Stanley Cup playoffs. It's been wild. It's getting wilder, and it looks like Toronto may need more than 4 games. So Florida managed to get one over on Toronto thanks to the fact that refs refused to call anything on the Panthers. Um, but yeah, they struck first and they struck second. No, but but yeah, it all kidding aside, they really took it to Toronto. And like I said, it helped that they did. It helped that refs refused to call things on them because referees don't like the Maple Leafs. They don't, and so the so Toronto's one in the hole, but they were one in the hole in round one, and we all know how that turned out. And that was against Florida's real team. So they're one in the hole in this series, but even so, the euphoria that it's round two and we get to see the Leafs. That's just nice. The Leafs now have a 12.5% chance of winning the cup. That's what comes with playing in round two because there's 8 teams left. Um, of course, there's the other big crazy shocker. Seattle and Dallas started their series, and oh boy. So I watched this thing, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They lit Jake Ottinger up. Now Ottinger is a wall. Nothing gets through him, but they really tore him down in that first period. It was crazy. 4 goals within the first 16 minutes of ice time. It was 4-2 after one period. But the shocker is Dallas actually scored first, which is something we never did, even though literally everybody on the Avs scores, and Dallas's offense is basically Pavelski, Robertson, and at times Hintz. That's it. I mean, let's face it, the Avs have fourth liners that are more consistent than Seguin. But anyway, um, but yeah, so Dallas scored first, but that didn't work out for him. Um, it was 4-2 after one. It stayed that way after two. And then Pavelski was a machine. He had 2 goals in the first, got the hat trick in the third, and tied it late in the third. He had a 4 goal night for Pavelski. I think this was his first game back. But we got overtime, and it kind of looked like Dallas was gonna win it, but Yanni Gordon got the puck, and I think with all the PTSD from the bubble. No, no, I'm wrong. I had the wrong way. And Yanni Gordon got it, and of course, he knows how to play Dallas. He did it before in the bubble. That's what I meant to say. Um, and got it in past. He got it in past Ottinger top shelf, where Mama hides those 2 cups he won. So Seattle takes game one on the road. They're 4-1 on the road this year's playoffs. Amazing. Um, So can you believe it? The Seattle Kraken are actually 11 wins away from a cup. Yikes! And Dallas's overtime woes continue. Overtime was their Achilles heel all this year. If it was tied past regulation, you could beat Dallas. It was crazy. That was why they lost the division. But um, I was thinking Dallas is probably glad Seattle took care of the Avs, but Seattle's a better team than Dallas. They are. I said on Twitter they have a pretty easy road to the final because they're way better than Dallas. I think they're better than Vegas and Edmonton because Edmonton's a bunch of fuck ups, and Seattle is a little bit deeper than Vegas. But yeah, so Florida and Seattle, the two shockers from this year's playoffs, the two wild cards that had completely crazy upset wins, they're both one up in their series. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting Elite Eight this year. It really is. We'll see what develops, but right now the Panthers and Kraken they're both in the driver's seat. Um, so that's what a way to kick off round two, and the other two series kick off tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's the Metro and the Pacific that kick things off. Uh, the Game one between the Hurricanes and Devils in Raleigh. The only one of the four series that's actually a rematch from years and years ago. Uh, it's the only one that has playoff history. I think this is their fifth postseason meeting. All the other matchups are first playoff time ever. All the other three matchups, first playoff meeting. Florida, Toronto, Seattle, Dallas, because Seattle just got there, and Vegas, same reason. Um, but yeah, so we got game one in the Metro tomorrow, and game one in the Pacific between Vegas and Edmonton. That's also tomorrow. Both games on ESPN. The second round schedule was actually released in its entirety. Um, Before this, it was only the first two games of each series that was released, but the rest of the second round schedule was released in its entirety. And we got double. It was a doubleheader tonight, doubleheader tomorrow, and then I think we see single games in some cases, but we should start going back to doubleheaders later on. The latest possible date for the end of round two is Tuesday the 16th, and that's the date for possible game sevens in the Pacific, Vegas and Edmonton, and the Atlantic, um, Florida and Toronto, and also unlike last year, the scheduling is different because last year, if I remember correctly, uh, TNT and ESPN had two of the had their assigned series in the second round. I think TNT had the Atlantic and uh, TNT had the Atlantic and the Central series. Well, TNT and TBS did, while ESPN had the Metro and the Pacific series. It's not like that this year. It's not like that this year. ESPN, ESPN2, TNT, and TBS will be airing pretty much all of the series, at least one game of all the series. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure as far as the conference finals is concerned, it's going to be TNT airing the East and ESPN airing the West because they rotate conference finals, and they also rotate the cup final. Because last year it was the West on TNT and the East on ESPN. It's going to be the other way around this year, and of course the final this year is on TNT. So, so again, as I said before, tomorrow we have the game ones in the Metro and the Pacific. Those series will kick off, and of course, on on Thursday, these same two series will be back in action for Game Two in Toronto and Dallas. Maple Leafs and Stars will look to even those series. Okay, so that's my recap of tonight's action. It was pretty good. So if you like this video, click the like button. Click subscribe if you want more. I'll be back tomorrow night with a recap of the other two game ones. So stay tuned.